Hello, my name's Chris Purkiss. I'm one of the volunteers with Major Projects Foundation. Today we're going to take you through a tour of the ship. Welcome aboard RV Ocean Recovery. So this is the main deck of the ship. This space can store 150 tonnes of cargo. It has been fitted out with a number of containers out here where you could even stack them too high. You can see the main ship's boat that came with the ship. We have to thank the New Zealand Navy for supplying us with that. This is the high-ab crane that we use dedicated for launching the ship's boat. We can also use it to bring stuff in from off the jetty. This is a wet dive bell. It will be used by us as a decompression station. It has other uses in the past, but this A-frame swings out and allows that white structure to be lowered down. Divers can then come up and rest and do their decompression stops with extra air in a safe environment. The New Zealand Navy installed a decompression chamber in case any divers ever get the bends. We've had it reinstated and it's now ready to operate if required when we're doing our dive operations. This is the entrance to the decompression chamber. It's a two-stage decompression chamber, so a support person can enter and exit the decompression chamber while the diver would stay in the main body. On my right is the bosun's locker where all the ship's deck crew's tools and equipment are kept. And over here is the control station for the decompression chamber. This entire area was known as the divers' preparation area where they kept all their dive gear. This level is the first level. It would have been the enlisted men's country where these cabins have multiple bunks and there's one set of toilets and showers down the end. When the ship was first built as a North Sea oil rig supply vessel, this is where the exchange crew would have slept while the journey out to the oil rigs. So this is one of the rooms on the first level where there's actually 6 bunks in this room and a small hanging closet. So this is the mess, or the kitchen as you might want to call it, where all the meals were served. So the meals are passed straight through from the galley through here. We have a bain-marie for when there's a significant number of people on board to serve themselves, and there's seating in here for approximately 20 people. This is the galley on the ship. The ship comes with a full commercial galley, multiple ovens, cooktops, dishwashers and preparation area. And this is Craig, one of our volunteers, who's doing a wonderful job converting this 2 bunk rooms into one office for all our engineers and scientists when we're at sea in the future. So this is the head on the first level, so it's shared. Multiple showers and toilets. We've had a couple of volunteer network engineers on board who have been able to get Wi-Fi networked throughout all the different levels of the ship. When a ship's at sea, it needs to be able to provide all the services that any city would be able to supply to you at home. So things like our sewage treatment plant, we won't go in there, it's not pretty. But also you need supermarkets, you need fresh water. We need big fridges and freezers to store several months worth of food. So this is the laundry for the ship where all the crew would be able to do their washing. So this is the bow area of the ship where a lot of the ship's services are. We have fresh water pumps, we have a hot water heater. This is what's known as the diver's workshop. It has some engineering machinery, plus storage for all our spare parts and necessary equipment. This is the engineering control room down in the engine room. The engines, the 2 main engines are Caterpillar D397s. We have 3 generators on board to generate all the electrical energy that the ship needs to operate. We have a number of locked storage spaces aboard the ship. When you look at the ship's plans, this space is actually called the beer locker. So obviously in the New Zealand Navy, this is where they locked up their beer. This used to be the only door on the ship that was locked. It's the radio room, restricted access when it was part of the New Zealand Navy. This level would have been known as Officers' Country when it was owned by the New Zealand Navy. All these rooms have en-suites. Many of them are set up as single, but a few of them are double rooms. This is the captain's cabin, the centre of the knowledge base for the ship. A lot of the stuff's on the computer. A lot of the specialised equipment that the captain needs are stored in this cabin. Set up with a little ensuite area and a little meeting area so the captain can have some privacy if he needs to talk to people. Hello, this is the main engineer's cabin. As you can see, it's set up as an office. It's where all the manuals and the books required to run the ship are kept. Also the computer systems and a lot of the equipment that any engineer would need are stored in this cabin. So this room is a dedicated hospital space. It's set up outside the air conditioning boundary so that it has its own air system. Let's go in and have a look. So this is where a doctor or nurse could operate and keep 2 patients quarantined if necessary. This is the stairways up onto the bridge. And here we have our captain, Jack DeYilio, who's doing charts corrections, which is something that needs to be done on a very regular basis.
Every fortnight.
So here we have the bridge where the watch keepers would be working 24/7 while the ship's at sea. All of the standard equipment that you'd see on any ship's bridge is here. Engine controls, engine system monitoring, the autopilot to steer the ship with. Down this way we'll see all the communications, and there's 2 radars on the bridge. We're now looking towards the bow of the ship. Whereas if you look over here, you can see 2 of the anchor windlasses. The ship has 4-point anchors, 2 in the bow, 2 in the stern, so it can hold position very effectively. This is the dive control centre on the ship. It's where we operate the main crane from. It's also where we operate the diver communications. The ship has 3 cranes. This one here is a manual crane used to operate the ship's life raft. The 2 other cranes are down the aft. Let's go have a look at them now. Over here we have the ship's main crane. It can lift 5 tonnes off the very end or 15 tonnes alongside, which is a pivot point about halfway along the boom.